everyone, and welcome to another interview for Leadership Unscripted. I'm your host, Liliana Rojas, and today I'm excited and grateful to welcome Esther Goette. Esther, you are a global executive coach, leadership development expert, and trusted partner to leaders navigating complexity and growth. With over 20 years of corporate leadership experience at companies like Procter& Gamble, Colgate-Palmolive, and Novartis, you bring deep insight into what it takes to thrive in multicultural, high-stakes environments. Today, you empower international leaders, especially women, to step confidently into senior roles, drive impact, and lead with both resilience and purchase. You're fluent in 4 languages and rooted in 3 continents. Your approach blends strategy, self awareness, and inclusive leadership to create real, lasting change. You are an extraordinary coach, and I'm thrilled to have with us today.
Wow, Ilyana, thank you so much for having me. These words are flattering.
And I would love to start with hearing like what compelled you to contribute your leadership journey to our book, our amazing book, Leadership Unscripted.
Well, actually, several things. So the first reaction when I heard the opportunity, my first reaction was like, oh no, I don't want to do this. What have I got to say? Nobody's interested in listening to my story. And then I thought, hang on a minute. This is interesting. My friends, the border patrol of my comfort zone clearly was speaking loudly. And I thought, let's check in what is actually really going on. And I felt, wow, with this group of extraordinary women, it's a wonderful opportunity to create something together and calling each other forth to do so. And secondly, in all honesty, I am actually at a crossroads. So I recently had a milestone birthday that led me to rethink again my trajectory of where I want to head in the next 10, 15 years or so. And actually looking back at my previous career, my previous life. And it's interesting, to start making sense differently, perhaps through today's lens than through yesterday's lens. And so this book was a fantastic opportunity to combine these two um, work streams, if you will. And and I thought that was just a wonderful opportunity to join forces with the ladies.
I love that, and you're absolutely right. Coming together, it just gives us this sense of power and of we can actually do this because we're not alone on this journey. And I love what you say about coming to these crossroads where our choices can mark a significant difference in how we're moving forward in our path.
Yeah.
And we don't realize how often these crossroads happen. And I think this book is a perfect example of showing all these different journeys, amazing journeys, including yours, and what those crossroads can, the amazing path that can be carved in front of us. So thank you so much for sharing. And as you look back at your chapter and when you were revisiting your story, was there an insight or a shift in perspective that surprised you the most?
Well, yes, and I mean, there are probably stories that we always tell, stories of becoming, events that happened when we were younger that shaped who we became, who we are today. And yet, while going through the activity, through this exercise, really, I realized that there's much more cohesion, or at least in hindsight, it seems there's much more clarity of how this journey evolved. And I think one of them, just to name it, not to stay in a complete abstract level, is how I personally am all about conscious choice and getting to that consciousness and enabling myself in taking choices, I think has been a big aha for me. And I think that also explains why I'm so supportive of empowering other people in doing that, because I believe in knowing your purpose and enables you to really make those choices that are important to take for your own sake, for the sake of your environment, and quite frankly, for the sake of the world.
That is so important. And I always talk about the power of choice and
Mm,
how we don't recognize since we study this the importance of the choices that we make not only for ourselves but for, to your point, the environment around us. So how critical is that? Was there a defining moment in your journey that you believe shaped your leadership voice or coaching philosophy?
Absolutely. And I tell this story quite frequently. So thank you for giving me an opportunity to share it here again. I wasn't, when I started to train as a coach, I wasn't yet clear that this was going to be my second career. It became very clear when, during one of my practice sessions, I was coaching somebody who, in my then quite judgmental mind, seemed a little dull, seemed a little uninspiring, perhaps, to be even more brutal. And in this coaching practice with me, she had a realization that was so incredibly powerful that her whole body posture changed from, little mouse to empowered lioness. And there she was with all her strength and her might. And she spoke out with clarity what she wanted to do. And she knew it. And when I think about that, I still get goosebumps, because that's, to me, it was the moment when I thought, wow, this is really important. This is what I want to do. This matters, as opposed to my previous career. I suddenly thought that's what I really want to dedicate myself to. And for the first time, I had a vision of who I wanted to be rather than what I wanted to do. So that was definitely a changing moment for me.
Thank you. And thank you for sharing the story, because we never know the impact that not only we're going to have on others, but that others are also going to have on us, on ourselves, based on this reciprocity, right?
Yeah.
So that's a beautiful, beautiful story. And I think it leads us to recognize and to create some self-awareness of today's leadership is at and where today's leaders are. And I think that's part of what we're trying to accomplish through this book, to share our insights and our wisdom, not only from personal experience, but as coaches, so that other leaders can take a page of our journey and start moving forward into what is required of leaders for the future of the workplace. So as a seasoned leader and as a experienced coach, what do you believe today's leaders need to unlearn to lead more powerfully and authentically?
Yeah, I was thinking about that. I think that there is still an old story in many people's head about what a leader is, who a leader is, the qualities, and what they should represent. And what I'm talking about is this vision of this lonely leader at the top that takes decision on his own, and people basically follow. And I think in today's world, with so much uncertainty and complexity going on, it is virtually impossible to meet this expectation. I mean, leaders are human beings, and it belongs to the humanness that we make mistakes. But in an environment where you are the lonely leader, it's unacceptable to make mistakes, and we all know it's unrealistic, right? And in today's uncertainty and complexity, we need to learn to move our way forward, because the certainty and clarity is no one has that. And in order to learn our way forward, we need to collaborate with others, learn from them, involve them, embrace them. And so collectively, or in collaboration, we can actually analyze, or I should say sense and probe ourselves forward. So I believe there's still an image in our mind, and I also still have it, despite all the work that I've been doing, which inhibits us to really be more overt about it and saying, okay, let's work on this together. There's not only one leader, but rather the wisdom of several to tap into. And I think it would also enable today's leader, well, I should say empower them, because to be alone there and having to do it all right includes a lot of fear of doing it wrong. And this fear of doing things wrong is also putting a tremendous pressure on everyone up there, and not only the person itself, but also on their environment they are acting in. So I think by saying consciously goodbye to that expectation and image would empower not only the leader themselves, but also their teams and their organizations.
Absolutely, and I think that's a beautiful way to say it, and a great advice with many others that you share in your chapter in terms of how we need to now embrace leadership as we move forward in general, anybody around the world. So thank you for that. So if readers walk away with just one message from your chapter, what would you want it to be?
Well, I think that it is important to see that everyone is a leader, regardless of positional power or rank. Leadership means taking responsibility for the world around you. And it doesn't matter if you are the high striped executive in an organization or a lower leveled employee. But by taking charge, or by really proactively taking leadership charge for the world around you, you can make a difference. And I think this is then also giving you a responsibility to look into that. And how would you then do that? How would you take responsibility? And this is then the next part of the long message, sorry about that, is to become aware of what it is that you really want, what your purpose is, and what your values are, so that you can take these choices consciously. And yeah, that here I'm going to end my sentence. I think it's really important. Take action, getting to know yourself, and expand your self-awareness.
Thank you. Thank you so much. Such powerful words and great advice. And this and many other things is what you share in your chapter and in the work that you do. So thank you. Thank you so much for being a part of this great collective wisdom that is now a book, and that is just the beginning of so much more. So thank you, Esther, for being here with us. And thank you, everybody, for watching another session with Leadership Unscripted authors. Check us out at leadershipunscriptedbook.com. And don't miss out on this wonderful opportunity to embrace and become a better leader yourself. Thank you so much, everybody, and hope you have a wonderful day wherever in the world you are. Thank you.